Everybody loves a good action scene. It's a fact. The thrill, the suspense, and the spectacle create tension, excitement, and enjoyment for the viewers. But the best written stories do more with their action set pieces. In between the explosions and the gunshots, they can be used to further the story in ways that most writers can only do through dialogue or exposition. In the case of the 2006 James Bond reboot, Casino Royale, its early action chase sequence serves as a dynamic and comprehensive introduction to a new 007 without him speaking a single word. The setup to this scene is simple. Bond must capture the target alive. As the target runs into a construction site, we follow his perspective as he wheels around for his pursuer. His eyes widen in fear as Bond explodes into the scene in a bulldozer, his emotionless face reminiscent of the Terminator. If you're just watching this scene, it's unclear who's the hero and who's the villain. He looks evil. And this immediately tells us multiple things about this Bond. Firstly, this is not the gentleman spy that we might have expected him to be, at least not yet. Daniel Craig's Bond is one of brute force and a lack of subtlety. Not that he's incapable of it, but he just refuses to be subtle. Coupling this with the lack of regard for collateral damage to the property around him and the attention that him driving the bulldozer no doubtedly attracts, it also hints at his ego, which insists that he wins first and thinks later. This is a driving conflict of Bond's character in this film, and this is a subtle and visually exciting way to introduce that very early on in the film. Through other snippets of this chase, we are informed of what this Bond is capable of. It is clear that he's incredibly athletic, and he's a very skilled fighter, which is in line with the typical vision you would have of an action hero. However, what's interesting about this scene is that it also shows Bond's limitations. It's very clear that Bond is not as skilled at parkour as the person he is pursuing, and there's many snippets of him stumbling, and this piqued my interest. Why not just make him as good as his target at jumping around? Wouldn't it be more fun to see two men swinging off poles and jumping off walls? No, because by showing us Bond's limitations, the writers can actually highlight his strengths. It's not just that Bond has limitations, it's that his limitations are something that he's aware of, and he is able to adapt his strategy around those limitations. This overall makes for a more visually pleasing chase to watch, as we get to see both the agile parkour runner and the brute force, a straight line is the shortest line, chaser. It also allows us to see how smart Bond is, as he uses clever ways to catch up to his faster target on the crane, and also later on the hydraulic lift. The conclusion of this action chase, which results in a gunfight, tells us a little bit about Bond's morals. And at this point, he has his target, he's winning. And when he's being shot at, he's not going to kill the soldiers attacking him with impunity. While he may not care about the public property he destroys along the way, he clearly has at least some respect for the value of human life. As I said, when he's winning. But what about when he's not winning? What about when he's cornered with nowhere to run? Well, this moral code vanishes, and that aforementioned ego comes back into play. If he can't win, then no one can. And the target who must be taken alive is killed, and the soldiers he avoided shooting earlier are instead caught in a fiery explosion. As I said, Bond does not say a single word of dialogue in this 10-minute sequence, but we get to learn all about his character. It is a textbook example of show, don't tell. This Bond is not what we expected him to be in his introduction. This sets the tone of the film and the reboot as a whole, and lets us know that this character has a lot of growth that needs to be done. Overall, I think a lot of action movies that come out in the past or even come out today could benefit greatly by looking at what this film does to introduce their character through action. And this could apply to any other medium, TVs especially, but also books if you're clever with your action set pieces. There's a lot we can do with show, don't tell. And it makes for an overall more exciting action set piece because you're not just looking for the next big explosion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more like it in the future, be sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for your time.